So let's get on with it. I want to talk about some metals a little bit if you guys don't mind. It's critical to get toxic heavy metals out of the body. That's why the heavy metal detox has been so powerful and has helped people move forward to such a degree. And you know, it's critical to remove metals because bugs love metals. We're going to go into that a little bit. Sound exciting? It is exciting. Understanding how it works, like when metals are in our body and they enter our body every single day. When you're pumping gas at the gas station, metals are entering our lungs and in our body. You can smell them at the gas station. If you're driving an EV, metals leaching from the battery, the 600-pound battery sitting underneath your butt. So metals are everywhere. Doesn't matter if you got an EV. It doesn't matter if you're breathing in the smog that's choking out of a car. We breathe in metals all the time. We inherit them from generations and generations of people. So we inherit these metals all the time. And then we also inherit pathogens as well. We inherit those. That's a virus right there. And viruses love to eat metal. So we're going to go into that a little bit, the whole thing. So let's cut into it. And then when that happens, our immune system gets burdened. Our immune system, that's an immune cell right there. Our immune system gets burdened when we have too many metals in us and pathogens are feeding off of those metals. So let's get into it a little bit, okay? So let's create a nice toxic heavy metal patch right here. A nice toxic heavy metal patch right here. One here, okay? We'll put a few different ones around if you guys don't mind. All right, you guys can see that, right? There we go. And then we're going to put a pathogen. A pathogen. Here we go. Look, we're going to put some spikes on this pathogen. How about that? Put some spikes on this one too. All right. We got some pathogens in the bloodstream. We got pathogens in the organs. We got them in the liver. How about that? So we got some viruses right here. And then we also have different kinds of pathogens too. So let's do a little bit of that. Here's a different one. Okay? All kinds of different bugs are inside of everybody. You want to know why everybody's sick? Bugs and toxins. What are some of the toxins? Toxic heavy metals. Bugs and toxins are why people are sick. It's bugs and toxins, okay? So we got the pathogens, we got all that. These are the toxic heavy metals. I'm just going to kind of circle them a little bit. Okay, lead, mercury, aluminum, cadmium, toxic metals, not even just heavy. I call them all heavy because they do serious damage on the body. All right, so we have that right there. So what you're looking at is a whole bunch of circles, a whole bunch of different spots, okay? But this is your body. This whole thing is your body right here, okay? Your body is this right here. And inside your body, you got your organs, and you got your bloodstream, you got your brain, you got everything. So what happens, all right? So toxic heavy metals break down over time. Keep that in mind. They break down over time. Metals shed. So what you're seeing right here coming out of deposits of metals, right? What you're seeing is outgassing. You're seeing oxidation. So metals oxidate in your brain and body. Keep that in mind. They oxidize in your liver, oxidize in your pancreas. You know how many people are getting pancreatic cancer right now? It's insane. It's every single day. This person's diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. This person has pancreatic cancer. This person has a pancreatic tumor. This person has this and that. It's crazy to the degree that is happening right now out there, okay? This person has liver cancer. This person has colon cancer. This person has this and that. And you guys know pathogens are those cancer cells, right? Viral cells turn into cancer cells. That's how it works. Viral cells need fuel to turn into cancer cells, to turn into disease-creating cells, just so you know. So metals start to outgas, outpocket. They start to oxidize. So that's what these metals do. So I'm putting a little bit of a butterfly around all these metals right here, okay? And you see that butterfly around them? That's what we want to call it, okay? I'm putting a little, all of this is metals breaking down. So we live our life. We don't get enough antioxidants. That's right. We start to oxidize. We get really acidic. And the acid starts to break down the metals. They start to out-pocket. They start to break down. Those are the metals right there. And when they do that, they're leaching. And when they're leaching, that junk and toxic crap coming off of them are leaching into your bloodstream and into organ tissue. If it's your brain, they're leaching into your brain tissue, right? Just keep that in mind, okay? So that's your brain right there. If it's your brain, they're leaching into brain tissue. If it's your organs, like your liver, they're leaching into liver tissue, okay? So there's the liver, there's the brain right there. So keep your eye on those because they're all part of it, okay? So now we got the bugs. We got the pathogens. We got the viruses. The viruses that create cancer. The viruses that create all kinds of inflammation. It takes a pathogen to create inflammation. Critical to understand. But a pathogen needs to stay alive and a pathogen needs to eat. It has to eat to stay alive. It can't just exist. Classified medical research and science keeps pathogens alive in their labs using mercury. Classified medical research and science uses mercury to keep pathogens alive. It's a preservative to keep pathogens nice and fat and happy and alive. So the pathogen can thrive because pathogens feed off of mercury. Public medical research and science doesn't know that. Medical medium information published all the stuff on how mercury feeds pathogens, feeds viruses, and so forth. What happens is pathogens eat the mercury, then they release neurotoxins. Neurotoxins give you all your different vagus nerve symptoms, all your different cranial nerve symptoms. It makes you get tics and spasms, aches and pains, fatigue where your legs are like sandbags, your arms are like sandbags, you can't function, you get the brain fog, you get all kinds of bizarre depression, you get all kinds of bizarre sadness, anxiety through the roof, panic attacks, heart arrhythmias that aren't heart problems, but instead they're like mysterious AFibs and everything. All these toxins related to pathogens from metals, right? So classified medical research and science uses mercury as a preservative to keep a pathogen alive so they could study it, mess with it, put it back out into the environment in people, some way, some shape, some form, so we can just kind of all pass around every single bug everybody could even imagine, like the herpes family, simplex 1, simplex 2, all the different herpes viruses, shingles, Epstein-Barr, HHV6, HHV7, undiscovered 10 through 16, and so forth, all this medical meme information. You guys know. So here's how it works, right? You got your metals. That's this right here. Your metal pockets, they're expanding. They're in your liver. They're in your brain. These metal pockets are expanding. They're in your liver, in your brain. They're in your pancreas. They're in your spleen. Yep, they are. They're in your colon lining. How about that? In your colon lining, right? So these are pockets of metal. They're expanding and outgassing. Let's go to viruses now. Let's go to bugs. Everybody has a virus in them. Everybody has one. If they're the one person at this point on the planet that doesn't have an Epstein-Barr, then they have a shingles. If it's the one person on this planet that doesn't have a shingles variety, right? Then they have an HHV6. If it's the one person that doesn't have an HHV6, they got an HSV1. They got the simplex cold sore, fever blister virus. Goes on and on and on. Everyone has a bug in them. The key is, how many bugs do they have in them? Okay? Do they have 3 or 4 varieties of Epstein-Barr that they picked up along the way because they just did? Do they have 5 Epstein-Barrs? Do they have 3 shingles? Do they have HHV6 cytomegalovirus? What do they have in them? Do they have 3 varieties of cold sore viruses? Because a lot of people, they don't just have one cold sore virus. They don't know it, but they have 3. And then they'll have a canker sore virus too, which is also herpetic, from the herpetic family, but it's not the cold sore virus, but they'll have the canker sores. Canker sores will come out all the time and so forth, right? Everyone has a bug. I'm sorry to say that. It's just how many do they have and which varieties do they have? Do they have 2 shingles and an Epstein-Barr? Do they not have a shingles, but they have an HHV7? What do they have? Do they have HSV1? Okay, so we're establishing that. Are there bugs causing problems? Are there bugs giving them aches and pains, fatigue, all kinds of different brain fog, all kinds of different anxiety, depression? Are there bugs creating all these different numbness feelings and tingles? Is it giving them tinnitus and ringing the ears, whooshing in the ears, popping in the ears? Is it giving them tightness of the chest, tightness of the jaw, pain in the back of their head? What is it doing? Is it giving them vertigo and dizzy balance issues? Are they dizzy? Are they having problems? Did they have a bout of vertigo last year? That is Epstein-Barr, by the way. What are they having? What are they dealing with? So that's the next level. And then we got metals. Metals. And I'm not talking about heavy metal, the music. I'm talking about toxic heavy metals and toxic metals, which people also have. They inherit it from the family line, mercury all the way down and so forth. And we collect more and more metal every single day. Like I said, you just go to the gas station, stick the gas pump in. I took celery force, by the way. Is it showing? Is it showing? Because I'm like, you stick the gas pump in, you breathe in those gas fumes, and those gas fumes have metal in them. You drive your EV around, you're like, hey, I don't have gas in the car. I'm doing good this way too. And you're breathing in and out gas over time. It's coming off the battery in the car, right? Regardless, we're getting metals out of the sky in all of the sea trails. We're getting metals in pharmaceuticals that a lot of people take. I mean, they take pharmaceuticals prescribed by their doctors for different things. They're getting metals from there too. It's just all part of life here. And then we get metals from our food supply. We get metals from all kinds of different things. And those metals sit inside of our organs. They sit inside of our liver. They sit inside of our brain. That's where the metals sit. And then they pocket out, they outgas, and eventually they spread. Now, you can get new metal exposures, just say at the gas pump, or breathing in fragrances, colognes, perfumes. You like the smell? It smells so pretty. It smells like beautiful wildflowers in this beautiful place. I love the smell of this perfume cologne and this air freshener that I just sprayed on my couch, filled with metals. We breathe it in, we smell it, we're smelling metals, and they're entering into our body. We can't run from it, we can't hide, it's everywhere, right? Of course we can pull our air freshener out of the wall and toss it. Of course we can pull something out of the wall and toss it like that. We can throw detergents out and bring in, fragrance-free detergents in hopes that we're actually bypassing a lot of them. We can do a lot of things. We can avoid fluoride at the dentist. We can avoid, which is a neurotoxin byproduct of aluminum. We could avoid that. We can do some things, but either way, we've had fluoride treatments in the past, maybe when you were younger. Either way, those metals build up and they outpocket, and then metals meet the road. They meet the pavement right here. The metals meet the virus. See this? Metals meet the virus. Now here's what happens with viruses, and here's what goes on with viruses, okay? Metals meet the virus. Viruses are on the same frequency as toxic heavy metals. Same frequency. They're not opposites. Okay? Pathogens like viruses are on the same frequency as toxic heavy metals. They morph together is what they do. They bond. So that's what they do. They bond. And that's important to know that metals bond. There's a B-O-N-D. I hope that's how you spell it. Metals bond together with pathogens. They make a connection. So eventually the pathogen gets hungry, it's looking for food, and then it finds it. It starts to feast on the toxic heavy metal because we're all loaded with metals. But how loaded are you? How loaded? I get metals in me every day. If I get metals in me every day, you get metals in you every day. If I walk outside and I'm breathing in a sea trail and I'm getting metals in me, you know how much crap they're dumping on out of the sky on us every single day right now? And then you got regular crap being dumped on us, just that alone, from all the fuel that's coming off of planes. I'm not even talking about sea trails, just the fuel alone, right? So you walk outside. I'm walking outside. I'm breathing in toxic heavy metals. You're breathing in toxic heavy metals. Are you in town? Are you breathing in that stuff coming out of the trucks and everything else when you're on the street? Did you smell all that diesel fuel and you're like, whoa, what is that? I'm breathing in metals. You're breathing in metals. That's right. But how many metals do you have? Do you got multiple sclerosis? Do you have fibromyalgia? Do you have RA? Do you have autoimmune disease? Do you have some other kind of condition? Do you have eczema? Do you have psoriasis? What do you have? What's ailing you? Metals are behind a lot of that. You have ALS? You got Parkinson's? What do you have? Do you have symptoms resembling any of that? Maybe not. Maybe do you just have chronic fatigue syndrome? Whatever it is that you have, tics and spasms and aches and pains and fatigue and all that you got, whatever it is, okay? Whatever it is, metals are involved. Metals. And the metals are meeting the pavement, baby. The pavement is the pathogen, right? They're meeting the road. They're meeting together. They're running into each other is what's happening. Pathogens and metals are running into each other. So you got, boom, the metals, boom, the pathogen, and they're doing this. They're meeting. And when they're meeting, the pathogen is feasting. So let's go into that next, right? And that's what's happening here. We're going to go into that next, okay? There we go. All right. So let's get into this. You're sick? You're down and out? Depression, anxiety, aches and pains, mysterious heart arrhythmia. No one can explain. A doctor can't. You've been through every test. Tingles and numbness, vertigo, dizziness, all kinds of other weird symptoms. Tremors in the body, feeling like you're vibrating at night, restless leg syndrome, insomnia. What else do you have? Pathogens, metals. Pathogens and toxins. Metals being one of the big ones right there. Important to know. This stuff is critical to know because guess what? If you don't know why you're ailing and you don't know why you're sick and if you don't know what's wrong, how are you going to get better? The heavy metal detox has saved so many lives over the years. The medical beam heavy metal detox. It is legendary what it has done. Turned people's lives around. I mean, got them out of bed, got them driving again, got them back to work. I mean, it's incredible what has happened all along the way.